guys, and welcome back. Today we are trying to make use out of Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge. I'm going to get right into the list. This one's got a lot of cool stuff going on. We run 4 Fountains of Renewal, 3 Soul Diviners, 3 Gleaming Barriers, 4 Treasure Maps, 2 Thaumatic Compasses, 4 Thought Erasures, 2 Thaumatic Compasses, 3 Treasure Maps, 4 Thief of Sanities, 4 Hostage Takers, 2 Karn, Scion of Urzas, 2 Karn the Great Creators, 3 Tezzeret, Masters of the Bridge, and 2 Ugin the Ineffable. So what we're trying to do with this deck is we're trying to get artifacts on the board so that we gain value out of our planeswalkers, and then we are relying on our sideboard in order to kind of bring the game to a close. We're running 3 Soul Diviners because it turns out it's pretty good for removing tokens off of or counters off of our planeswalkers or counters off of our treasure map in order to draw cards. We run 4 Thought Erasures because, of course, in any blue-black list, they're pretty much required at this point. We run 3 Gleaming Barriers because we need something to stabilize against aggro. It also plays into our planeswalkers pretty well, so Fountains of Renewal and Gleaming Barriers are our anti-aggro tools. The Thaumatic Compass is pretty good for hitting land drops. Treasure Map is self-explanatory. Thief of Sanity and Hostage Taker are just to give us some mid-game presence so we don't get shut out in the mid-game by attackers and such. And then we get into the fun stuff. So, Karn, Scion of Urza, we are generally using to create an artifact token with it when we play it. Karn the Great Creator, we are generally -2ing to grab something from our sideboard when we play it. Master of the Bridge, we are generally +2ing to deal damage and gain life. And Ugin the Inevitable, or whatever, we kind of use both of these abilities depending on what's going on. The +1 is good for card draw, the -3 is good to come back if we're behind on board. On the sideboard, we are running 2 Amulet of Safekeeping, shuts down token decks, 2 Sorcerous Spyglass, shuts down planeswalkers. Conqueror's Galleon is very fun because we can turn it into a creature with Karn, the Great Creator, and then we can swing in with it. And when we swing in with it, it turns into a land that allows us to draw cards, return cards from our graveyard to our hand, which can be very nice for our planeswalkers who have died. So if we get this off, it's very powerful. Golden Guardian is pretty good in 2 ways. We can throw this out and turn it into a creature. Then we can either use it to attack into a token that Karn, Scion of Urza has made and hopefully kill it to flip it, or we can use it to attack into our 2/2s that we've made with Ugin the Ineffable to get the cards underneath them into our hand. So pretty good. Helm of the Host is here to be put on God-Pharaoh statues or Meteor Golems depending on the situation and what we need. And Weatherlight is just another draw engine to help us come into our planeswalkers. So that's the sideboard. Without further ado, I am going to get into the matches and let you see the games for yourself. I hope you enjoy. The deck is not it's not completely finished. I've only played like maybe 15 games with it or so. It's maybe got like a 60% win percentage right now. Dimir wasn't too competitive last season. I don't know how it's going to do this season. It's kind of feels like it's lacking a little bit of the tools you need. But anyways, I'll let you guys watch the matches and you can be your own judge. Our opponent with the name of a drug, so that's always good. Well, I guess it's like if you hurt yourself or something, I don't know. Fountain of Renewal and Thought Erasure on curve is pretty good. Rekindling Phoenix will be a problem for us, so that will be the choice. Gleaming Barrier is fine, we can leave that on the top. We've got the mana to curve into Hostage Takers, so not searching for land is okay in that instance. See if our opponent has a play. Outside of Banefire, we don't see any other forms of removal in his hand. So our opponent on the ramp game. With the Banefire and the ramp and the creature ramp, I'm kind of assuming he's trying to do like a OTK Banefire deck. That's what I get out of it, out of what I see so far. Although my opinion could change the farther this game goes on. We will drop Karn. We knew it was going to get Banefired, that's why we minused it. He had the mana to kill it with Banefire either way, so we might as well get the token out of it. Tezzeret is tempting here, but we're kind of thinking Hostage Taker on his other card to stop his card draw, because we don't want him getting card advantage over us quite right now. The chances of the one card he has in his hand being creature removal is pretty low, so I felt like that was the better value play that helps us to keep tempo in our favor. And it was a land war, so we made the correct play. We'll just go ahead and drop his creature down at this point. We really don't want to play our stuff until we have a better board presence. So Goreclaw it is. No reason not to swing in. So we can't kill his creature, so right here I think taking the damage is the correct play. We're at a safe enough life total that we can do that. We'll go ahead and drop Tezzeret now, which allows us to also drop Karn. Now we get to look through our sideboard and see what we want to pick. Meteor Golem seems like a good option. We're leaving our Fountain of Renewal up because of the Banefires. They pose a pretty big threat to us with how grindy and stally our deck is. We'll go ahead and take care of his creature. Double block. It's the only thing he has on the board that's a threat to us, so there's no reason not to keep our Planeswalker alive. Fountain of Renewal is actually a pretty good drop for us at this point. We'll go ahead and plus Karn. So with the Meteor Golem, if we can end up getting Karn off, we can grab our Helm of the Host. No attacks, we're just stalling out at this point. Our opponent drawing into all his ramp, but no Banefires yet, which is a good sign. Go ahead and grab another Meteor Golem just so that we can play it on curve. We'll minus our other plane. We'll minus Tezzeret, which unfortunately just grabbed us a Fountain, so pretty unlucky on that minus. We'll save Meteor Golem for anything else he decides to play. Tezzeret will go bye-bye, that's okay. We don't need a 2-drop creature at this point. Dropping Ugin is pretty good. Unless our opponent can board wipe, he's probably going to be in trouble. He is running a lot of different colors, so there's no way to know what tools he has in his deck. We will flip the treasure map. Thought Erasure not too good at this point in the game. We don't want to attack in case he has another 7/7 that boosts his board. We don't want to lose our Planeswalkers at this point, so... Hydroid Krasis is pretty good for our opponent. We'll take Helm of the Host. We have enough to play it and equip it. Meteor Golem and Hostage Taker were both pretty good options for Helm of the Host, but we just went ahead and did the Meteor Golem to be safe in case he had some enchantments or something that were going to come out. So that's why we made that play. We just, we didn't want to have him play an enchantment to shut us out of the game. Carnage Tyrant, normally a threat for control decks, but we have enough creatures out to block it that we're not worried about it. We'll keep Hostage Taker in hand. We're not too worried about anything he has on the board at this point. Same thing with Meteor Golem. Our opponent hits another land drop. Again, we're kind of adding up our damage, but we're going to have to sacrifice a creature to attack, and at this point, we're just really worried about him drawing into another big creature, and our opponent concedes. Up against Parbus. So we do have a couple 2-drops. Gleaming Barrier could probably keep us alive for a little while if we're playing against an aggro list. Another opponent playing green and red. So we're up against Gruul as far as what has been telegraphed so far. The question is it like the aggro-y one or the mid-range-y one? Thrashing Brontodon could cause quite a problem for us. Nothing right now he could take would be too much of a detriment to us, but Hostage Taker on his Gruul Spellbreaker is the play. We didn't want to do it on his Brontodon because he had the mana to pay to sacrifice it. So if we took it, he probably just would have sacrificed it in response. Our opponent with an Ooze. He attacks with his 3/4. And that was a misplay. We could block it and he had no mana open. Evidently he did not like his line of play and it angered him and he decided to leave the game. Fountain of Renewal and Thought Erasure in our starting curve is pretty good. That's generally what we like to see in this deck. No point in taking the Merfolk Branchwater curves because he has 2 of them. We'll get rid of the Planeswalker. We know he probably has removal for Thief of Sanity. That's fine. We just want him to get rid of it and spend his mana. No point in Thought Erasuring first because he'll just cast his removal in response, so we will do it after. Out of all these threats, Burglar Rat, funny enough, causes the most threat to us right now. Discarding a card gives him too much card advantage, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of the Burglar Rat. We'll drop the treasure map because we can't allow him to keep gaining card advantage over us or we will lose the game. We played Karn just to kind of wonder if there's any way for us to stall this game out. Drawing a blocker is probably our best bet at this point with how small his board is and the things on his board. We see Vraska Golgari Queen on top, and there's just no point continuing that game. We've lost too much tempo, and we have no way in this deck to take care of Planeswalkers. So that card would have overpowered us. Unless we had like a token generating machine of our own out at that point in the game, then we would have stayed in, but without having anything of our own generating tokens, we just went ahead and conceded. So another opponent up to some discard shenanigans. We know he's a discard list, so we're just going to go ahead and sack the Fountain right away. There's really no reason to keep it in. We will play our land drawer, otherwise known as Karn. And we use his plus ability instead of the minus ability because this guy is running discard. Normally we would minus him, but with our opponent on such a heavy discard list, we're just gonna keep plussing him so that we can keep cards in our hand. Sorcerous Spyglass is probably going to be the best card against this deck we're playing against. I would assume he's got some Lilianas in there and a few other things that are going to find their way out onto the board that we can find use for Sorcerous Spyglass with. Our opponent didn't like our Thought Erasure and decided to throw the game, so on to the next one. Again, Fountain of Renewal and Thought Erasure seems to be the theme of our starting plays. Our opponent says hello, we will say hello back. We don't want Tithe Taker out. It was on curve for him. It's not a big deal, we don't play a lot of instants, but unfortunately he just had another one in hand, so. Playcrafter is probably worst bet for us because we don't have a lot of stuff on the board, and if we play one Planeswalker and he plays Playcrafter, we will have to sacrifice it, and we don't really generate a very big board without Planeswalkers, so we'll go ahead and take Midnight Reaper with Hostage Taker. We looked in his hand. We know one of the two cards is not removable, so we're playing the just the luck game there. I feel like the odds were in our favor. We'll go ahead and drop the Midnight Reaper to try to generate some card advantage over him. So sacrificing not the Midnight Reaper is the obvious choice there. The Hostage Taker was the obvious choice, so either way we draw two cards. I guess he had another way to make us sacrifice our stuff. So we can drop Ugin, which allows us to drop the Gleaming Barrier for free, which is pretty good because it can block out one of his creatures. We also can destroy his other creature, so that was just the best line of play for us over Karn. Yep, we'll block to keep our guy alive. Then we'll play Karn. We will mean to click the -2 and accidentally click the -1, which is a huge misplay on our part. And I kind of sit here dumbfounded for a little while of how I ended up doing that with my brain lapse. So there you see it, we all make misplays. So in my head, I meant to -2 him, and for some reason I just hit the -1, so it is what it is. Go ahead and sack the Fountains at this point. They're not doing us a whole lot of good. We'll keep one on the board. And Tezzy under our token is very, very, very good right here. And we'll go ahead and sack the Fountain just in case we draw into something we can play, and we did. Here we're just kind of looking for something we can play for free. Amulet of Safekeeping will stop his flyer from flying over and attacking our planeswalkers. Because he could have hit it with his flyer and then pinged it with his planeswalker. Thanks for watching, everyone. I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, have fun, stay safe, and enjoy life.